I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about.
What is up, guys? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, hello, I'm Ashleyanne. Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 4 of Vlogmas. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a holiday makeup look, but for beginners. I'm going to do a quick but talk through of how to do a simple makeup look. I'm gonna do something purple, something smoky, something pretty, but for beginners. So I'm gonna go through it and it shouldn't be very complicated. So without any further ado, let's just get right into the video. Primer. Use the NYX Angel Veil. Oh man, I cut my finger, so I'm gonna have to do with one hand. I don't know how I feel about this primer just yet. I don't hate it, but I also don't know what it does. The purpose of primer is supposed to act as a good base for your foundation. After primer, we move on to foundation. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation simply just because it's matte and it's pretty and I like the coverage. Put it on the back of your hand, not your palm, the back of your hand. So if you have, I have darkness around this area of my mouth, so I tend to put more foundation in this specific area because I have something called discoloration. A lot of people do have discoloration, so I put a lot of the foundation in that area. I like to use a sponge to blend out my foundation. You can use a brush or whatever you're comfortable with, but I like to use a sponge. I like to use a sponge because it makes the foundation look a lot nicer on your skin and it doesn't leave any streaks or marks. Now for concealers, typically people like to conceal and highlight. Concealing is just covering up your dark circles, so you can use like one shade above your foundation shade. I'm using Makeup Revolution foundation, but you can also use this as concealer. I like to use this because it comes in a bigger tube and you don't have to repurchase it as frequently as you would have to with the concealer. Now that I've concealed, as you can see, my dark circles are gone. Now I'm doing something called highlighting. Not the highlight you put in your cheeks, but this is highlighting just to brighten areas of your face. So I'm going to go with a slightly lighter. This foundation is a shade lighter than the last one I used for concealer. This is an F12 and it's still the Makeup Revolution foundation. And I'm going to use that to brighten. Usually the center of your face is where you brighten. So I'm going to put some under my eyes because I want brightening there. I'm going to put some down the nose because I do like to define my nose, and just some on my Cupid's bow. If you want, you can also highlight your forehead and chin, but I do not care to. I already have a big forehead and very prominent chin. Highlighting is meant to make that part stand out, so I do not need to do that. And the reason why I highlight the bridge of my nose is because it helps shape my nose. And I like to take the side that has foundation and just press that against the edges of the concealer because I do not want to take the concealer too far out, and I want to make sure it looks like it was blended in seamlessly. And now to set it, you want to use some sort of loose powder. You can pour some into the cap and use that to set. I like to use a different sponge to do that, but the sponge is damp. I didn't mention that, but you do, if you use a sponge, you want your sponge to be damp. It applies the product a lot better. So I'm going to take a damp sponge. I'm going to pick up some of this powder. I just shake some off and I'm going to set. I like to set the side of my nose simply because there's a lot of creasing there, and I'm just setting anywhere that I've concealed. All right, and I'm going to set my nose, but I'm going to use a smaller brush to set my nose because that sponge is not going to be precise enough. I'm going to leave my face like this because I want to go into the eyes, so we will come back to the face later. So priming your eyes, you can buy an eye primer, eyeshadow primer, those exist, or you can just use your concealer. Typically, I like to use the lighter concealer that I have. Since this is a look with color, I want to make sure it shows up really well. So I'm just gonna use this on my eye. I like to use a brush to blend this because a sponge is just not precise enough. So I like to tap. I don't like to smudge or move the brush. I like to just tap. And I'm gonna take it pretty high up to my brow because I tend to blend color pretty high. Where there's a line, that is my lid. I have a very small lid and I have a lot of space at the top of my eye, and I like to use all of this space I have to make this lid look bigger. All right, there you go. And now our lids are prepped and ready for shadow. I do not like to set this. What most people tell beginners is to start with a transition shade, so I'm going to tell you to start with a transition shade. Typically a transition shade is just a lighter color that you can use in your crease so all of your other eyeshadow blends together beautifully. You're gonna start off with a fluffy brush when you're doing this. So I'm gonna take this fluffy brush I have right here, and I'm gonna go into the Carli, Bybel, and BH Cosmetics palette, and I'm gonna pick up this lavender right here. And this is going to be my transition shade because it's light, but it still goes to the color scheme, and you want to tap just like that. Your crease is above this line where your lid is. So here's your lid, your crease is above that, and I'm taking this above that. And I'm just gonna tap it. I'm not gonna blend it out yet, I'm just gonna tap it. You're tapping and not blending because your eyelid is still wet from your concealer or your primer. And if you just start trying to blend it, you're going to move the concealer and it's just gonna be a mess. Now that you have it set, then you can start blending. This is literally the trick to blending if you don't know how to blend. Hold the brush from afar. Do not hold it this close because it's too tight and it's too much pressure. Hold it from back here and go where the edges of your shadow. Do you see how you can see this harsh line? I'm gonna touch that part with my brush. I'm going to take it and I'm just gonna go in circular motions like this. Circular motions literally blend out your eyeshadow. And so anywhere you see a harsh edge, just go in circular motions and it disappears. And boom, now it's blended. Now to deepen that, I'm gonna take a smaller brush. This one is still fluffy, but it's not as fluffy. And I'm gonna go into the darker purple that's right next to it. And that's what I'm gonna use to deepen my crease. Your crease is above your lid. My crease is wherever your eye folds, and so that's where I'm going to apply this color. I'm gonna go in circular motions, and I'm gonna start here at the bottom, and then I'm gonna go inward. And it just already gives it more depth. Now I'm gonna take that all the way in because I like a very defined crease. And I'm gonna take it pretty high up because my lid is so small. So I am bringing it higher than where my actual lid is. And again, I'm gonna go back in with the other fluffy brush that had my transition color, and I'm just gonna blend out the edges again. So now you have this pretty lavender, but that's just too light for me. Like it's still gonna be beginner friendly, but it's also gonna be really cute. Now I'm going to the Juvia's Place eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna pick up this very vibrant purple, and I'm just gonna use the smaller condensed fluffy brush, the second brush, and I'm gonna pick this up, and I'm just gonna go in the same area and see how much brighter it is, and that's why I really like this one. And also, if you're not a beginner in eyeshadow, you do not have to start the transition shade. You can add your transition shade later actually. Just make sure you don't blend the color too high or you won't have space for the transition shade, but for the sake of beginners, I want to make sure you do it the way a lot of people used to do it. So now the purple is about this high on my lid. I want to deepen this even more because you want to add depth. Right now we have color, but we don't necessarily have depth. So I'm going to the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. So I'm going to pick up this really deep plum right here. It is a dark, very dark color. I'm gonna pick it up with the same brush. I'm going to lightly start on the outer corner. Again, I'm gonna do the V of my outer corner first. I'm actually gonna like run that just a little bit on my lash line. And now I'm gonna take that into the crease. Starting on the very outer corner. And I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm just gonna keep it controlled in this area and go in circular motions just right here. And I'm just gonna keep going through it until I like the way it looks. And I'm gonna bring it into the crease a little bit. So I'm gonna go up here, so about to the middle of my crease. I'm taking the color in right here. I'm gonna go with my big fluffy brush, the one I used before, and I'm just going to gently go in circular motions and blend out everything else. Now we're gonna add our shimmery color. I see this pretty shimmery purple right here and I wanna use it. So you wanna take a lid brush. Typically they're really flat brushes, very thin, and I'm just going to put that on the lid. Now because I said I have a very small lid, I'm gonna bring it above. So here is my lid, this short little part. I'm gonna bring it above it, just right here. And I'm gonna start that in the inner corner and bring it out. And you just want to lightly flick it this way so it blends in with the darker color you already applied. I'm gonna pick up this color right here. I really don't know what color to call this. It's like a silver slash mauve weird color, and I'm just gonna take some of that and work that in my inner corner. So I'm actually gonna put some on the lid. I'll use the same lid brush and I'm gonna pick up some of this silver and I'm just going to tap this right on top. I'm not gonna swipe, but I'm gonna tap it, and I'm gonna put that right on top of where I put my lid color. All right, pretty, I like it. I'm just gonna finish the face and I'll show you how I do with the lower lash line. So the reason why I kept the loose powder under my eyes is because, as you can see, the shadow fell on my face. Using the loose powder, it catches it and avoids it from staying on your face. So I'm gonna take a brush and just gently flick it off, and it comes off. Now I'm gonna take this fluffy brush and actually blend out wherever I put loose powder because I don't want it to be this white. There is a difference between contour and bronzer. Bronzer is used to sculpt your face. So you would apply that wherever the shadows are of your face to make that area of your face look smaller. Bronzer is just to make you look sun-kissed. It's to make it look like you have a natural bronze. I'm gonna use my black Radiance contour palette. And if you look, sculpt looks more like a bronzing color, whereas contour looks like a contour color. So I'm gonna take some of this. I want my face look more chiseled. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna start at the back, the very top of my ear, which is here, and I'm gonna start here, and I'm just gonna work it. And I'm gonna go in circular motions to blend it out. And now you can see a bit of a difference between here and here. And even if it looks a little harsh, that is fine because we're gonna put bronzer on top. Bronzer helps when your contour is too harsh. All right, so I just contoured my nose already. And I like to go in very careful, very light circular motions around my contour area. I try not to bring it too close. I never let it pass about right here. Now for blush. I'm just gonna use the blush I always use. I'm using the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush. And I'm just gonna apply that to my cheeks. Now, it's entirely up to you how you wanna put your blush. I do not like to put my blush in the apples of my cheeks, so never here. I like to put it past it. So I like to sweep it like this. And that way it doesn't start here, but it starts past there. And I like to let my blush blend in with my bronzer and contour, so that's why I use such a wide brush and I just go like that. So now that I've done bronzer and blush, I'm gonna finish my lower lash line. You can leave it like this if you're into that, and you can just do the upper part and leave your lower lash line, but I like to define my lower lash line as well. So I'm gonna go into this purple right here. I'm gonna take this fluffy but flat brush. It's fluffy, but it's still flat, and that's perfect for getting under your eye. And I'm gonna pick up this purple, and I like to make sure it connects with up here. I don't like to leave a gap at all. So I'm gonna take the lid brush we use for our lid, and I'm gonna go into the dark plum purple that I used for this corner, and I'm gonna take that only on the outer corner of my eye. So it's basically the same thing I did on the top, but I'm doing on the bottom where I only do this part, not the whole lash line. And of course, you still wanna make sure it connects. I'm gonna take it to about the outer third of my eye. I want a brighter inner corner, so I'm gonna go back in with the brush you saw me using the inner corner, and I'm gonna pick up these two white colors right here. I always use those for my inner corner because they're just really bright and I feel like they look nice in every skin tone. Ooh, that's icy. That is icy. Okay, highlight. Everybody's favorite part. So I'm gonna pick up the highlight that comes with this contour palette, and I'm just gonna swirl my brush around. And I'm gonna apply some to the chin. The reason why I'm using this right now is because this is not as pigmented, so it's gonna give off the look of dewiness. Some on the temple right here, and I'm gonna do my Cupid's bow. I like to do a small little dot on my nose right here. The reason why I put it only in these areas is because it helps give my nose structure, it gives it a bridge. Whereas if I did the whole thing, I feel like it would have just been overkill, so I only put it here and here. And now I'm gonna take this color and I'm going to highlight my brow bone. You just wanna put it under your arch. I don't really have an arch, so I just put it under wherever an arch would have been. I'm gonna go back to my fluffier brush and I'm gonna use the highlighters that come in the Carli Bybel palette. I like to start right here in the center and then work my way up and down. Okay, I'm gonna actually take whatever's left and put some on my Cupid's bow. Now after all that, I'm gonna spray my face. I'm using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I just really like this one because it's a continuous mist. And I like to take the brush I used, the sponge I used, I like to take the flat angle and I like to press this in lightly into my skin. I feel like it makes your makeup look less powdery. And for whatever did not dry, I'm taking my fan and I'm just gonna fan the rest. Good. For mascara, I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara, and this is in the color Blackest Black. I'm not doing lashes because this is a beginner's look and I want to make sure it's easy. I am going to show you my technique though. I like to have a mirror with me, so I'm using this one, and I'm going to keep it below me. And I'm just going to go and blink each time I touch my lashes. I do this because it helps elongate them. And when you look down, you can see every part of this lash. You can get to the very root. So now I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna go over the lashes and I'm just gonna curl them with my brush. Curl them upwards. And once I've done that, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do the blinking technique I did before. Now you've coated your lashes on both sides, which will it be hard to take off? Yes, but it makes them look a lot longer. And boom, here are the pretty lashes. Now for the lower lash. which is pretty simple. You don't have to do your lower lashes. I used to hate doing that when I was younger because I thought I looked like a clown. But now I like it, so I'm not gonna do much. I'm just gonna carefully run these in my bottom lashes. So for lips, you have two choices here. You can go with the same color and put on your lips, but that is a lot. That is a lot going on in the face. And when your eyes are already like this, you don't want to do too much. So I do have a purple lipstick, but I don't think I'm gonna use it because I want to keep the focus on my eyes. And so when you want to keep the focus on your eyes and not so much have people going back and forth about what to look at, I like to do a nude lip. So that's what I'm gonna do. My favorite combination is this right here. This is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, and this is in Berlin. And this is the Jordana lipstick in Coco Malt. And to make this even prettier, I'm gonna add a gloss. And I'm using a gloss by Candies. I still use this, and it's in the color Boy Bait. Here's just a nice little close-up of what the eyes look like. So cute. And this is the entire face. Alright, and this is the completed makeup look. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And if you did, you can like the video down below. Do not forget to subscribe. Also click the bell that's down below so you can actually be notified every time I come out with a new video. Being subscribed is just not enough. If you do not click the bell, you won't actually know when I come out with a new video. I'm doing Vlogmas. Today is obviously day 4. So you might want to stay tuned and see. So I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace, love, and unity. Deuces.
It's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas.